The police dog was trained to obey without question, to freeze at a single raised hand and release at a single sharp command. But on that cold evening, under flashing blue and red lights, the dog did something no one in the city had ever seen before. As officers shouted and crowds gathered, the German shepherd lunged, not toward a suspect, not toward danger, but toward a trembling little girl standing alone behind the yellow tape. In that split second, when the command was broken and every officer reached for their breath, something unseen and terrifyingly personal was about to be revealed. And no one there was ready for the reason behind it. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us why humanity still matters, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel, Kind Vibes. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. The night had started as a routine operation near the old Riverside district, an area known for abandoned warehouses and whispered trouble. Officer Marcus Hale had worked this beat for years, his face lined with fatigue and discipline, his trust placed heavily in his canine partner, Orion. Orion was more than a police dog, he was precision and instinct wrapped in fur, a symbol of control in chaos. The call had been about a possible armed suspect hiding near the river, and the perimeter had been sealed quickly. Patrol cars formed a glowing barricade, radios crackled with tension, and Orion stood alert, muscles coiled, waiting for Marcus's signal. Nothing in Marcus's training prepared him for what happened next. As Orion scanned the shadows, his ears suddenly shifted, not toward the warehouses but toward the crowd. Among the onlookers stood a little girl, no more than 7, wearing an oversized gray hoodie and holding her arms tight around herself. Her name was Amara Wells, though no one there knew it yet. She had wandered from her apartment 2 blocks away after an argument upstairs that left her scared and shaking. Her eyes were fixed on Orion, wide and glassy, as if she recognized something no one else could see. The air felt heavier as Orion's body tensed in a way Marcus had never felt before. Then, without warning, Orion broke formation and pulled hard against the leash. Marcus shouted the command, sharp and absolute, but Orion did not stop. Gasps rippled through the crowd as the dog surged forward, not aggressive, not barking, but desperate. Officers reached for restraint, fear flashing across their faces, but Orion slipped free and ran straight toward Amara. Time stretched thin. Parents pulled their children back. Someone screamed. Marcus felt his heart drop into his stomach, already imagining the headlines. But instead of chaos, something impossibly gentle happened. Orion reached Amara and sat directly in front of her, pressing his large frame against her small body like a shield. He lowered his head, nuzzling her shaking hands, whining softly, a sound Marcus had only heard once before, years ago, in a moment he had tried to bury. The entire scene froze. Amara did not scream or run. She collapsed against Orion, clutching his fur as if it were the only solid thing left in her world. Her breathing slowed, her sobs muffled against his neck. The danger everyone expected never came, but the silence that followed was even louder. Marcus approached slowly, his chest tight, memories flooding back with a force that stole his breath. Years earlier, before the uniform had fully hardened him, Marcus had responded to a domestic call involving a woman and her child. The woman had not survived. The child had been found hiding in a closet, wrapped in fear and silence. That child had clung to Orion the same way, shaking, wordless, broken by things no child should endure. Marcus remembered the report, the foster placement, the unanswered follow-ups. He remembered the name, and as he looked at Amara, at the familiar scar near her eyebrow, his knees nearly gave out. The truth unraveled quickly after that. Amara was the younger sister of that child from years ago, living now in the same cycle of neglect, fear, and quiet suffering. Orion recognized the scent, the emotional memory burned deep into his training and heart. He was not disobeying, he was remembering, he was protecting the same pain he had once failed to prevent. Social services were called, neighbors whispered, officers lowered their weapons, and the suspect by the river was forgotten entirely. The real emergency had been standing behind the tape all along. News spread through the city by morning, not as a story about a police operation, but about a dog who chose compassion over command. About an officer forced to confront a past he never healed. About a little girl saved not by protocol, but by instinct and love. Donations poured in, volunteers stepped forward, policies were questioned, training manuals were reconsidered, but most importantly, Amara was placed somewhere safe, where nights were quiet and doors stayed closed for the right reasons. Marcus visited her once, not in uniform, standing at a distance, watching her laugh as Orion sat proudly by her side. He understood then that some rules exist to keep order, but some hearts are meant to break them when it matters most. The city would remember the night the dog disobeyed, but those who truly listened would remember why.